Hello, listeners. This is your host, Lauren O'Brien, and you guys are, as usual, maybe listening to Black Sheep and Bad Apples, the podcast where we go ahead and script a little story out for you, a little something from history, some fascinating information. And we do all that while we're sober, but we deliver it in various states of inebriation. And I, in case I didn't mention it, I'm Lauren O'Brien, your co-host this evening. And I would like to thank first and foremost Mr. Sean, our producer man.
Oh yeah.
For hosting us. How you feeling, baby?
Pretty spunky.
Yeah, it seems like a good, energized crowd tonight. Yeah, me too. And our other co-host of the evening will be Mr. Sam Wise Gamgee.
Spunky as well.
Spunky Sam.
Different way.
Sam, you have to talk into the mic now.
Hey.
Okay, so that's what we're dealing with today. All right.
Yeah, and as I said, I am the co-host this evening, and I would like to thank everybody for being here and all you guys at home listening. And tonight's host, I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to, is Mr. Joe Dacey.
Daisy!
Fran.
All right. Well, I'm here to talk about something that's very close to my interest today. This is like legitimately my favorite type of story that's out there. We're going to do a cryptid story.
Oh, yeah.
But it's not just any cryptid story. Have any of you guys ever heard of John Keel?
No.
The name, but I don't have any
He wrote a very famous book called The Mothman Prophecy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rings a bell.
So, and
Are
the
we talking
Mothman,
about the Mothman?
we are not talking about the Mothman today, but we are talking about a thing that John Keel calls the phenomenon.
Isn't that a music artist?
Yes, but this is a different phenomenon. Yeah.
Okay.
The way John Keel describes it, the way we're going to this podcast is, it's the way that I believe this. That like when it comes
So
down
this is your story about this.
This is a theory that I very much believe in.
Okay.
But we will go through all the different theories that this story could possibly be too. But I'm gonna lead you into this because I want you all on my side.
All right.
So basically,
Well, I don't like, from the beginning, I don't like that you're trying to brainwash me
Oh, I am.
and our
Yeah,
listeners.
yeah. Well, it's about
But
a monster.
I am oddly on your side already.
Yeah, it's
so
about
I think
a
it's
monster.
working. I think it's
This money.
I washed my brain before we got here.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Join us.
You should
Come,
wash it every day.
Join us. Join the others. Come, join us.
So the theory that John Keel has is that what he calls the phenomenon is not just one thing. It's an overall umbrella that
So it's an umbrella? Case closed?
it's an umbrella
Umbrella
that
term.
it brings over everything under high
said that.
strangeness. So he keeps it under everything from cryptids to UFOs to ghosts. His big thing is we're all feeling this one phenomenon and filtering it differently through our perspective.
Okay.
So I because there is a lot of different ways we can, especially cryptids. There's a lot of ways you could see a lot of these different things.
Yeah, kind of like how some people are like Sasquatch is an animal versus he's an interdimensional being.
Exactly.
Would you define cryptids?
A cryptid is an animal that we believe is out there, but we don't. It's not an entity because a cryptid is an actual physical animal.
Okay.
That we're not able to pinpoint know exactly what it is,
Do
but
we have
it
no
is
physical evidence of it actually existing, yet people believe it?
from a chupacabra to a
Mongolian
Bigfoot,
death worm.
Mongolian death worm. There's a lot of different types of cryptids out there.
Loch Ness.
But also the Narwhal. The Narwhal was a cryptid until we found it.
Oh shit.
The gray gorilla, that big giant one, like that was a cryptid until we found it. There were Like when you go down to like Bigfoot and there were like primates in every other continent, and America is actually one of the only ones where we don't have a native cryptid that lives here.
Or
We don't.
native ape.
We don't have a native ape. Native ape.
Oh, okay.
But like when it comes down to it, like that could be our native ape. It could be the Bigfoot. Like that's what these.
I like the story of like.
find evidence of apes. We eventually find, things if they exist, and they're as large as a goddamn 7-foot tall ape.
But like I mean, elephants bury their dead. There's a lot of different things that
And we have
point to
tons of fossil evidence of elephants and mammoths and stuff like that.
Because we saw them while they're alive.
Evidence of Bigfoot.
Well, maybe this story will prove you differently. Like, let's go back.
I don't think anything is going to prove me differently on that. We have no
On this segment of
physical
Prove
evidence
Sam Differently.
Well, we're not talking about Bigfoot today. We're talking about
the
like
phenomenon and not the artist.
Well, it could be also a link that brings us from our cryptids to our skies. That's what I think of this story as.
Cryptids to our what?
Cryptids to our skies. It's that link that brings the alien to our cryptid. It's that middle ground. That's why.
I have thoroughly no fucking idea what you're talking about right now, and it's pissing me off a little bit. And you are baiting me so bad. I am fucking champing.
Well, you are touching yourself, and I don't like that. But
I've got to do something to stimulate myself because I just can't take.
That's why I keep going because I feel like you're gonna put it back eventually.
You're being a little
cock
talking. You're being a little cock tease, and I don't appreciate it.
So how about this?
Fine.
The year is 1952. We're right on the edge of a giant UFO flap. Have you guys ever heard of a UFO flap?
No.
It's a term used for a long period of a lot of UFO
sightings.
A lot of UFO sightings, and
that's exactly what we said.
But what it basically, my big thing with the study that they had here is there was in 1952 there was 1,501 UFO sightings reported.
How many?
1,501 sightings reported. So there might have been more, but these were the ones that were reported to the Project Blue Book like sightings that like we have found later on.
And this was
cool
in
if it was 1,502 in 1952.
Yeah. That's what I love. I'd like to think that last one is the Flatwood Monster, and that's what we're talking about today.
The Flatwood Monster.
The Flatwood Monster.
I'm already nervous.
Oh, the Flatwood Monster. He is my favorite.
It sounds terrible. I'm already depressed.
You guys have never heard of it before?
No.
Okay, that makes this a lot easier.
My ex-wife called me that once, but I didn't know what she meant by it.
So we're talking about UFOs in 1952? Or are we talking about...
Sam, he's trying to lead you.
Yeah, I'm bringing you there, man. You just stay along.
A little patience, baby.
Sit back.
Here,
listen, Morty.
just hold my hand and let's walk through this.
Touch me.
So it's September 12th, 1952. 7 p.m. in Flatwoods, West Virginia. A group of kids around, there was probably between 4 and 6. The problem with this story is you hear this story from the kid's perspective. So there's a lot of varying stories with it. But for the most part, they stay pretty accurate for the main story. The kids were around 10 to 14 years old, and they see this strange flashing light shooting through the sky. It looks like it's pulsing, and it ends up landing or crashing in a farm right by their house. So they get all super excited, and they start running towards it.
Seems smart.
Yeah, I mean, it's the 50s. They don't have any TV or anything, so that's what you're going to do. Like, so they end up, like, going, like, past one of the kids' house, and he picks up his mom, and the mom feels her whole house shake, and she ends up going on the trip, too. The mom's a little worried, so she brings the two neighbors over, and one of them, Lemon, and the other, Nunley. Lemon is a 17-year-old National Guard. Lemon decides to bring his dog too. They all go into the woods like a fun caravan, like an amazing 70s movie of a bunch of kids going to find a UFO.
Right.
It sounds great. Now,
So this is like Stand By Me.
oh yeah, it's
with
exactly like that.
Or also the premise to Earthbound.
Meets Third Encounter or
Close Encounters
Close.
of the Third Kind.
Yeah. And if you guys haven't played it, Earthbound is a really fun. I believe it was a Nintendo game, and it was about essentially this
I don't
story
think I know the
where a
Earthbound.
meteor lands on this like next to this kid's house, and he goes out with 4 of his friends, and they go on this Stand By Me thing, and it's a really fun game. It's
You guys
super
want
hard
to
though.
find a dead body? Or,
Yeah.
You guys want to go see a dead body?
So, like, this is when I'm going to bring in my favorite character of the story, Gary Baker. Now, Gary Baker
Gary
is...
Baker.
Old Gary.
Yeah, Gary is exactly who you think he is.
I fucking love Gary.
Yeah, he
feel like he
has
needs his
a
own
tie
show.
that's way too short. He has a big belly. Like
Gary Baker.
But, like, Gary-
and he talks like this.
Gary's the guy who pieces this whole story together.
He's the brains behind the operation every time.
Oh, yeah.
That Gary Baker.
He becomes a very
Gary
prolific UFO writer.
GB.
Like he's been he wrote multiple books on different sort of like sightings. Most of them centered around this conflict right here. Most of them around the Flatwoods Monster. But like his big thing was he thought that this creature wasn't just a creature. He thought this creature was the UFO itself.
So this creature's body came
Bumblebee?
hurtling through space.
Bumblebee tuna?
Bumblebee. No,
Bumblebee
Bumblebee
tuna.
from Transformers.
Yum Yum.
Yeah, like, I think of the Men in Black where the guy had the little alien inside his head.
Right.
That's my like the whole interpretation of the whole thing.
All right.
But
So
like I'm
Gary
getting a
B-
little ahead of myself.
Gary B's.
Yeah, I mean, first we were we were putting the crew together.
Yeah.
And then we got into the woods.
Well,
Where do we go from here?
Well, there's a like,
Honestly, I'm sketchy about Gary B right now.
he's not somebody that you should trust because he's a UFO writer, but like he's somebody that it's a fun lark to go down his path.
Maybe he got the alien in his brain.
Maybe he is the alien.
Maybe he's trying to tell us the truth. Tell us the truth.
But after Gary really got into it, he found that the guy Neil and Lemon they were the ones that had the most credible story. So I'm gonna go basically with what they had to say. Like a lot of the other people, they don't contradict exactly what they say, but it's not like I'll come across it when we get to that point. Also, I just listened to like a 3-hour podcast about the Flatwoods before I came here, so I'm sure there's like random things that are gonna pop into my head.
You're gonna
and be
interrupt
like,
yourself.
Well, like that was wrong compared to what I just heard, and like that's just gonna be me fighting with myself, I guess. So.
That's the thing about cryptids. Nobody knows the whole truth about them, and even if you think you do, you're still fighting yourself about it.
Oh yeah. So this is Nunley's story.
Fuck.
Nunley and Lemon led their group up across the site. They see this massive glowing fire-ish orb that's slowly getting dimmer and dimmer as they look at it. Then a strange mist starts to appear around the facility where they're at. The smell smells something like exhaust fumes and burning metal. Also, later on, they describe it like when they describe it to other people, they said that it smells a lot like mustard gas. So Lemon also tries to bring his dog up the area. He sends his dog up in front of him. As soon as the dog touches the mist, his tail goes between his legs, and he doesn't even run to Lemon. He runs home. Like, the saddest thing about the story to me is that dog died later on. Like, it was something like that serious. I heard it once, and then I didn't hear it again for a while, and then I actually looked up the guy's history, and he says the dog died. So that's why I'm going by that. But
fucking I Am Legend.
yeah, that's like people could die all day. Once a dog dies, I don't like it.
It makes me want to John Wick this whole bitch.
Jeez, yeah. All he was trying was to protect. Yeah. Okay. So when they get about 50 feet from it, they hear this kind of clattering in the woods. The trees are like kind of moving, and Lemon shines his flashlight like where he hears the clattering, and he sees it like when it like appears. All the light is two red eyes. It's like the light is It's like the creature is absorbing the light. Like he said, like you can't make out too much from it. All you see, like the way they describe it was a big red dome with two red glowing eyes in it. Their head was almost in the shape of an ace of spade. They said the big spade with the kind of the point going off their head. Now, this monster was known as the Braxton County Monster, the Phantom Monster, the Green Monster.
Even though it had an orange head?
Well, they found the rest of the body to be green, like the leaves and the grass around it.
The body?
Yeah. But the body... The body was different than you would describe a regular body. They described it as about 15 feet tall, with about a round head, two glowing red eyes, like I said. But the lights, the eyes,
my mom.
The eyes beamed a reddish, greenish, orangish glow, and lit up the whole area around it. But that didn't happen until they shined the light on it. So they said once they shine the light on it, they said it just lit up like a Christmas tree. They said like the bottom was green. They said it projected like an aura of a light or a smoke around it. He said it looked like he was wearing a hood at that point too. But the people, as soon as they saw it, they said they saw it for a matter of seconds before it lunged for them hissing, and they all ran away. And this is one of my favorite...
That's pretty cool. Not at all scary.
Oh, my favorite part was the documentary I watched where they interviewed the mom that went up there. And it was her just being like, I decided that it was not friendly, and there was a big fence behind me, and I just leaped it and started running. And then it cuts to the kid, and the kid. So
they had crossed a fence.
It was like a fence out here. It was just like a cattle fence where they just kind of had to move it out a little. Like they could open it and move it, but then they had their back up against it while they were watching this happen.
Gotcha.
So then that happened. Instead of opening the fence, it seems like they just kind of bounced over it. But one of the kids, because they were only like 10, 11 years old. And the kid was just like, I was young enough to I could just go underneath the fence. But I looked over and I think her name was Miss May. She was already 10 feet down the way. She must have jumped over way before I even saw it. And she was just gone. She was just ready to leave.
Jesus Christ.
Fuck these kids. I'm out.
But all the kids, they had the same basic view of the creature. When they said it didn't jump forward, it glided forward. It just slowly slid towards them. It hissed at them, and what it had was hands was flailing towards them, but there was no actual kind of it was a very smooth transition. So they get back to the house. They run all the way home. They find their dogs cowering under the decks. The dogs are all terrified. And then all the kids report sore throats, sore noses, and convulsions for the next week from the smoke. They're all not feeling good at all. They're throwing up, and they even that night they call the sheriff department and they get them to come down to the facility. But that same night, they happen to have 2 aircrafts down in the same area of Flatwoods, Florida, or Flatwoods, what is it? North Carolina?
I was just about to.
Oh,
ask
West
you.
Virginia.
West Virginia. But that's I think it's a small town. They have 2 sheriffs to their disposal, and there's 3 aircrafts down in that area. So they don't have any opportunity to send anybody out there. So what the sheriff does is he calls a journalist that he knows that fought in some war.
World War II.
Probably, yeah. And
7 years before.
and sends them to be the person on the line, interview the people, and figure out what's going on.
You know, I disagree with Sam. I think it might have been the Iraq War.
The Korean War? When was
I was going with World War II because it sounds like somebody found some Nazi uniform stuff.
Well,
and then
it's
just went out in the
also-
woods and was like,
It's not lost on me. When did you say this? All these alien sightings start happening.
Well, this was in
In the
52, but it
late-
was after a 2-year long span
Late
of a lot of
40s,
Yeah.
late 40s, early 50s,
Yeah.
right? So just
That's the flag.
after, within reason, if you consider, the speed of light and energy in the universe, that's this happened 7 months, or 7 years and 1 month after we dropped both bombs on Japan, which happened not too long after we fucking actually figured out how to do that anyway.
Well, the
if
actually
anything
this
was going to be a candle in the fucking darkness, it'd be like thermonuclear explosions
a
for sure.
very interesting UFO sighting that happened days before this happened was at the oak perch. Oh wait, no.
What secret fucking
What
Oak
happened?
Ridge National Laboratory
Oak
in
Ridge
Tennessee.
in Tennessee?
It's one of the biggest nuclear facilities in the country.
Right.
And that was like days before this happened, a UFO was seen flying over Oak Ridge towards Flat Ridge area. And it really goes into that whole
What kind of aircraft were down in
They never found any of them.
But they knew that they were down, so they knew what kind of planes had gone missing and gone down. What kind of planes were they?
They knew something went down on American soil, and they shut down the whole area to research the 3 sightings. And
I thought you said that 2 planes had gone down.
Well, no, that's what the police were saying to people.
Oh, I see.
The police were saying that they're researching some planes that went down, but still to this day we have no aircraft was ever discovered, no people were ever discovered.
No one can connect it to Dr. Smith and his Cessna crashed here and went missing, and it makes sense. They didn't.
Yeah.
And there's no plane parts.
They didn't come up with any evidence.
Do you guys remember what Project Blue Book is?
Ooh, that one sounds
No,
really
I don't.
familiar too. This is probably all shit you've mumbled at us
Yeah.
while you're drunk.
So Project Blue Book is I believe it was 1940.
Dr. Kelly.
1947 to 1969 was a U.S. Air Force project that was going on that was going looking up UFOs. And like during the big info dump that was just dumped in the last couple of years, we got all the information on that.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
That's where when we finally like everything got declassified, and we know what Project Blue Book is now. And I mean,
Did that happened earlier this year?
We figured
that's where all that.
we found out more
That's
from this
where
year.
the
Okay.
really goddamn convincing footage and from the fighter jets with the
Yes, the Tic Tac.
the Tic Tac thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they call it Tic Tac UFO. And when
And
you
the
look at it,
astronaut stuff too.
and that was one of the theories that I really enjoy about UFOs, and it's a very simple one, is that that Roswell, that big crash that we all know and love, and that's in all of our
It's
minds.
all of our hearts.
Yeah.
Hearts and minds, people. Hearts and
I
minds.
believe that was a satellite from another planet that was looking for life. I think that like that was their way of going out and testing waters. I think they saw that there was life available on this planet.
Well, we can see ourselves across vast distances to see that there is a planet around a star somewhere, and start to get an idea of maybe it's close enough to the star or not to be in what we call the green band.
Yeah.
Or the Goldilocks zone.
Goldilocks, that's it,
Yeah.
right?
Well, and then you get into a thing of being like, well, we don't have the technology to get us there in the right amount of time, so maybe we could send a scout or something in front of us to get, like our satellites do, and bring us information on what's going on.
Right. It'd be difficult to accelerate a human body in any reasonable amount to send it vast distances, but a chunk of silicone and metal is, can handle the G's of, because it's the acceleration and deceleration both directions, unless we're outside of conventional physics, you know what I mean? And there's some technology that we have yet to discover about that allows you to travel instantaneously or much faster, FTL, faster than light. But we don't yet have those things, so I'm not going to assume that even like a space probe from an alien civilization is doing anything other than using conventional physical, travel.
Exactly.
Newtonian and Einsteinian travel.
So if during Roswell, if a different planet was able to send a satellite or something to research another planet, it would be roughly 100 years before they could start like bringing stuff out there and really start kind of not terraforming, but like visiting and really, especially if you realize that it's filled with life.
How do you know like 100 years? How do you come up with that?
I'm just guessing. Like two generations, like that in my mind. That
Generation of an alien species? Like I feel like we're just making a lot of assumptions right now.
We totally are.
Okay.
Yeah. But since we don't have any answers, all this is assumptions.
Yeah, this is all
Hypothetical
speculation
assumptions,
and
snarks.
yeah.
So
Smirkins.
in my theory, the aliens sent out a satellite in during Roswell. They find out this planet is filled with life, and instead of coming
Aggressive life.
yeah, instead of shooting off and coming here right away, they slowly figure out how to get there. You get another 10 years, you have the Flatwood Monster. You have these other scouts coming out and checking what it is.
When did Roswell happen?
I think 46. I'm not too sure. That's a complete guess.
So, I guess I could just look that up.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah, speak to the Oracle.
Well, the big thing about that I was bringing up Project Blue Book about was Project Blue Book researched the Flatwood Monster when it happened. It sent people out there. It found out that there was a meteorite flying across our country at that point. It said that it did crash around that time, but there is no point.
47. Yeah.
There is no point where the crater hit. There is no crater from that meteorite.
When did Roswell happen?
In 47.
Nice.
Mid
Year off,
1947.
Very close. Very good.
But like that's not too far after, that's like less than 2 years after.
No, but that's
Hiroshima.
also. Oh, here, yeah.
You know what I mean? And then another 5 years later. I mean, 5 years, that's not very long if you consider interstellar distances.
But
You know what I mean? That's how long it took Voyager to get to Saturn.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And
2 years.
if they can't like travel at the speed of light speed, like that's how long that they're traveling. So if they sent out another crew, right after their first satellite hit during Roswell, it would show up around Flatwood Monster time, depending where they are.
Where? By what? I mean, at the speed of light.
No, they're saying that they're not at the speed of light.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, at the speed of light, nothing's arriving anytime soon.
No, yeah. So it's
know?
taking time to get there. They're figuring out things, especially if it's a craft with one being on it that could barely land on the surface. Like that seems like a Sputnik mission. That seems like a mission of like these guys being like, all right, we know this planet has life. Let's
Does
see
it have
what kind,
air?
Yeah, and like a creature like that, it feels like it's terraforming the area around them.
How can you imagine how advanced you would have to be? A society of intelligent species would have to be to fucking shoot a thing like the distances we're talking about.
Yeah.
And like to have it come here and land here anyway just doesn't seem like it would be some janky fucking alarm clock with a driver. You know what I mean? Like it.
Well, I mean,
it just doesn't seem like it would be a thing that would crash, especially.
Well,
that's what our
consider that if
spaceships
it's
do.
well, and I think
but
I
our
think
spaceships don't
hear me
travel
out.
fast.
Yeah,
like,
what I'm saying
the
is
speed of light
is
or
things
relativistic
happen.
velocities, so.
Things happen all the time, and like machines that are built with the utmost, quality, still go to shit sometimes. As Joe was saying, like rocket launches sometimes don't go the best. Even fucking Elon Musk's little rocket thing when it came back crashed on the pad. It's like shit fucking happens even with the smartest people, and yeah, maybe it created this.
We
monster.
are fucking big hairless monkeys. Like
Yeah.
I don't think we get.
You're pretty
yet-
hairy.
You are pretty hairy.
Get to yet
I think you're the most
qualify as
monkey out
like
of us.
truly a spacefaring race. Like we're
I'm not.
we're barely past flinging rocks. Like
I mean, we landed that was it, I guess on Saturn or something like that. We landed the whatever the thing on it and
not
stuff.
on Saturn, but
It was on one of the
Oh,
gas,
I'm
one of
think-
those. It was either Saturn or
A
Jupiter,
moon?
but I don't know. We landed
we
on
dropped
the
that
planet.
probe into Jupiter.
Yeah.
But,
Right.
and they landed on it and stuff, but there was no. Yes, they did. I'll look up which planet it was and what satellite during break or something like that.
Anyway,
but we
we're
landed
getting
on
a
one of
little-
the planets, and the whole point was they knew that they couldn't come back from it. There was no way that they could come back from this, but they knew that they could land, and before the thing got destroyed, that they could get some intel and
Yeah.
photos, and that's where we figured out that there was like water and ice on. Not Mars, it's like Saturn or Jupiter.
I
or
remember the picture, the images from
Or it's not
Jupiter
water,
that they
it's,
got from the probe that the satellite dropped into Jupiter. But like
Yeah.
we don't know what happened to that probe past
A certain
entering
point,
the
yeah.
atmosphere to a certain point because the atmosphere is so fucking caustic on Jupiter that it would probably destroy everything.
Yeah. So let's get back to the story though.
Fuck that. I want to argue about science more.
No, we are arguing about science. The Flatwood Monster is science.
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 Oh, science. Well, before I get into my favorite story about the Flatwood Monster, I do want to recognize that there is a place in Sutton, West Virginia, that has a Flatwood Monster museum.
Oh shit.
They recognize it as their state monster.
Hell yeah.
Or their city monster, I guess it is, because Mothman is their state monster. That's the thing that this also might be how Mothman got on our planet. So that's the next little step that we're going to be taking.
You're gonna leave us hanging while we go to commercials.
Oh yeah, you hang out there like that kitty waiting for a good
You gotta
day.
understand how irritated that makes me. I love that you're just a little cock tease about it. And break. Thank you for listening. And now a word from our sponsors.
This podcast was brought to you by Fourth Corner, supporting independent entertainment, music, and no pants parties in the Trinity County area since 2016.
The makers of the Lasso Hammer are happy to introduce you to our new product, the Rugged Lasso Hammer.
With a steel reinforced rope and a stainless steel lead infused hammerhead.
Any man who knows his way around a construction site is going to use one of these.
With high tensile strength and an aerodynamic design.
It's fun for the whole family, even the kids. And you bring it to a construction site, you're going to really nail it.
The Rugged Lasso Hammer.
Swing it,
Nail it.
Rugged
Lasso
Lasso
Hammer.
Hammer. Come on down to the Whispering Pines Trailer Park Food Court, where you'll find
Wonton pickup available in quarter ton, half ton, wonton. Come pick up your wontons at Wonton pickup.
Or come visit me down here at Pick and Pulled Pork. Whether you need some carbs or a carburetor, we got it here at Pick and Pulled Pork.
Or Sid's Seafood and Shake Shack in the driveway next to Dave's Place, Unit 347.
Whispering Pines Trailer Park Food Court. Smack down on some delicious grub. Closed once a week for Monday Night Raw.
Located off of Highway 76, Beale Street, exit 47, left at the Texaco, then a right, a half a mile past the Bill Murray Memorial Park next to the bridge. If you hit the clam, you've gone too far.
Discreet Cleaners is your choice for confidential cleaning.
We'll clean your
Carpet,
room
backseat,
or trunk,
house,
condo,
apartment,
boat, limo,
or bathtub.
with stains including
Blood,
brains,
guts,
bones,
piss,
shit,
vomit,
cum,
chocolate, and other stains including
dirt and mud,
wax candles,
rose petals,
broken glass, and Dear John letters. Discreet Cleaners.
We're here for you. Solid Foundation Survival Bible Fitness Summer Camp for Youth.
Where we teach your kids to swim through the flood and outrun the plague. We walk on water with our new core program.
We'll teach them to shoot, garden, hunt, skin, gut, and can all their own food.
T-shirts are available at sfsbfscfy.gov.
You can order the Solid Foundation Survival Bible Fitness Summer Camp for Youth manual at sfsbfscfy.gov.
Log on to the Solid Foundation Survival Bible Fitness Summer Camp for Youth to get 15% off on all tickets to all 3 days of the Christian Fest's He Is Written tour.
Solid Foundation Survival Bible Fitness Summer Camp for Youth.
Ready for revelations?
Now you will be.
Thank you for listening to our fake sponsors. If you like what you've heard, like, subscribe, and share. It all helps. Now back to the show.
Welcome back. So now that we have gone through the beginning of the Flatwood Monsters story, I have shown you guys the first picture of him. You guys saw him?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is the picture that the children drew of him when this happened. It's the
He-
same picture since then.
Looks ridiculous.
12 feet tall.
He looks like a
And-
Dalek, but
Not at all.
yeah.
Well, like the thing that I
Well,
didn't
like if a
mention
Dalek in
before
a-
is he doesn't have feet. He's floating. Like that's a big thing I think that I definitely forgot to do.
Yeah, he's like if a Dalek and a Cyberman
And this is
became the same thing.
for the listeners, if they want to look up a picture of the Flatwood Monster, you can Google Flatwood Monster. And
Google that shit.
History.com's, it looks like a hand drawn.
History.com.
that was
picture.
from the kids who saw it in the
Oh,
day.
wow, okay, yeah.
That's why you see the person next to it for scale.
Yeah,
So-
but check it out on History.com's Flatwood.
It's
But how would you describe?
Intriguing.
What do you guys think he looks like? A Dalek, Sam does not think he looks like a Dalek. So what do you think he looks like?
Man, I don't know. Just like
I'm going with.
You're very helpful, man. That is cool.
let
I'm
me
gonna
see the
go with,
picture
like-
again. I
gonna-
didn't realize I was gonna have to fucking critique this shit.
I'm going with like gambling nun,
Ooh, I like that. Yeah. Well,
like what you would see the nun at late night in Deadwood.
It also
I mean, it looks like some sort of robot. It looks like, I mean, that the dress thing makes me think that you just didn't see it correctly. If this, and
that's
the
actually very true.
if we're just presuming as a thought experiment that this thing is real,
it
That's
looks
what we're doing.
it looks to me like a
I would have to say somebody fucked up and their brain couldn't actually comprehend whatever they saw down here below this metal, clearly robotic, metal clawed, fucking handed robot body.
Well, the very interesting thing is the mother, when she was describing it, she kept saying from the waist down looked like a pleated skirt, but then kept saying over and over again, but it wasn't. I just don't have any other way to describe what it looks like.
Right.
So, like, to her, it was a cylinder going down with that was kind of
Pleated.
yeah, like a pleated color. So
Had some pattern to it.
yeah.
Right. Some specific matrix of elements that allows you to, when energized with this particular type of battery, to float and be creepy.
Yeah, to me it looks like a Tim Burton made a marionette or a puppet on the strings, you know, and then it looks like he made the Iron Giant wear a skirt.
Oh, Vin Diesel.
And then had like put like a very pointed tipped leaf behind it with the tip end pointing up.
Yeah.
And then it's got like this kind of just like schoolmarm dress thing going on. And
I do like
it's
this-
like twice the height of the human with like the glowing eyes of the Iron
I do
Giant.
like this.
It's pretty cool,
this
actually.
spade kind of top and
Yeah,
stuff.
it feels like a big hood that he can just kind of like push up. Like, make
Yeah, I
look
imagine
like
it as a dome behind him.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's not that at all. Maybe it's some sort of aura being projected from around.
I was
the
gonna
thing
say-
that
Or an
appears
organ.
It does-
this way, or an organ like a penis or a lung.
Well, and it could be because
Both.
they were in a forest. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were in the forest. So what I kind of presume from maybe this quick interaction of seeing something that was very visually bright and in a dark area is like kind of the aura thing. And I picture the spade over the head, which looks like a hood or something like that, is more of like an aura that the light goes between the trees. So it kind of makes like if I were to flash something at you and you were in a dark room and then I flashed an image at you really quick, your eyes are only going to intake so much that it's going to kind of shape some things that you will remember, but maybe weren't actually the shape of the character.
Right.
Were just
Yeah.
the
That
flash
if there were
of
some
shape,
just
you know?
tree branches in
Yeah,
the
that
way.
might have created the aura and then would leave out the feet because you're not focused
But
on
they
the
had
feet.
a clear line of sight on this whole thing. No, you said it was in the trees.
It was in the trees,
Right.
and
Right,
as
theory.
soon as they saw it, they turned around and ran away.
Ran.
They
I've got a
only
con-
saw it for a
I've
little
got a
bit.
conspiracy theory about this.
You're
This
crazy.
thing rocketed through the sky, just the way it was in that picture. But then when it landed, it tried to land on its feet and broke them.
Ah.
Okay, busted ass ankle theory.
Busted ass ankle theory. And then just started floating around.
I mean-
floating around because that's what they do.
I have seen an owl that I flashed a light on in the middle of the woods that was like 6 feet away from me on a tree branch, screaming at me. Well, screamed at me when I flashed the light
That
on it.
is
And then
the-
I very quickly ran away, and all I have is this shocking image of some crazy thing that I know was an owl, but the image in my head is not of an
It's
owl.
so
But if-
spooky.
But if there had been like a shadowy tree just below and in front of the
Yeah.
branch, and all you saw was the like head and like the wings as it was just stretching them up to be scary or something, but you didn't. All you saw was this crazy head now and the weird shadow body, which was actually a bush. But
That
because
is
you
the
all-
number one theory
Right.
of what the Flatwood Monsters is. You guys came to it naturally.
Is that
It
it's a
is that.
fucking owl doing this like right.
It,
Big
but
old round face. They shine a light at it. Its red glowing eyes are reflecting the fucking flashlight.
so to discredit that is there's one more very big story of the Flatwoods Monster. And this is where I think it gets very, very interesting.
Okay.
So this is an encounter of a couple who's going on their ride with their going on a drive with a baby, and they're not really going anywhere in particular. They're just going for a ride. When for no reason their car just shuts down, which is a very big sign. A lot of UFO sightings.
Episode
it happens
1
a lot.
X-Files.
Yeah.
Right.
So he goes out there and he goes and he looks at the car. He checks the battery. He sees nothing wrong. And then just like Lemon in the first story, he hears a rustling in the woods and shines a light in the woods. But he sees a different creature this time. This time, this creature is the same from the waist down, but from the waist up, it's a reptilian humanoid creature. This is one of the first sightings of a reptilian humanoid creature in like our lore that we can like trace back to.
That's fucking cool.
So what he said he saw was it wasn't a skirt to him. He said it looked like a jet turbine engine facing down with hoses and stuff coming off of it. A mist coming out of the machine, while from the waist up was a reptilian creature with 2 long arms with just 2 fingers on each hand.
God damn.
Yeah, fuck that
Yeah.
noise.
As soon as he sees it,
I'd
he
commit
runs back
myself.
into the car. He can't get the car started again, so he's just him and his wife are watching this creature float to the car, and he touches the hood of the car, and it burns a V straight into the primer. They have no idea what happened. He just looks at it and just floats away. Doesn't do anything to people. Like 15 minutes later, the car starts running, and they get out of there as fast as they can.
Jesus Christ.
So how far after the initial reports of
2 days. This is 2 days after the big thing happened. And so that begs the question, if this creature that the people saw in the first sighting was just a spacesuit, and it was something of somebody coming out of like a ship or something, and not knowing if everything was like if the atmosphere, if they could breathe, they later on when they re-questioned them, they said that the creature kind of looked like it was wearing a bell suit, like the old scuba suits, like the big metal one that you see in the beginning of Scooby-Doo,
or like from 10,000 Leagues.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They said it looked something more like
dive
that.
suit, those old, yeah.
So it might this initial reaction, he could have been terraforming the area around them, trying to get it to something where he could take off his mask and know if it was safe or not, and then interacting with the people. But that would kind of feel very aggressive to if that gas was poisonous to you and you kind of just got scared away from a weird little creature running towards you.
Or like maybe the gas doesn't have anything to do. Like if you have a report of this thing without a suit on, breathing atmosphere, floating around, whatever. You said it was producing gas. They saw it producing a mist.
They said the mist, like both times they said they saw the mist appearing from it.
And
I feel like the mist has something to do with the equipment part, not necessarily has to do with the thing being able to breathe our atmosphere or not. But
Well, it could be part of the
'cause
equipment. It could
would
also
just-
be
you would just wear a breather apparatus. That makes the most sense. It's the most logical.
yeah. Unless it was something in the ship that broke, that it just started spraying out like
It could also be exhaust fumes from just like descending.
Right. That's
Yeah.
what I'm thinking. That this thing produces this mist to move around. part of its mobile.
There's also a theory that we haven't brought up at all, saying
or
that
maintaining the gravity in its local space or something like that.
or the
because
gas starts it all. It's a gas that gives you hallucinations.
I was going to say the next time I decide to drive out to the woods with my girlfriend and my car overheats, emitting a large amount of fumes from the hood, and I'm really panicking because I ate some drugs, and that was the whole reason why we went out to the woods, I'm calling the newspaper and reporting everything that I say.
That goes down
As
to
you should.
John Keel. That's what, like, his whole thing is. It's a mental reaction that you have with somebody. It's not a physical reaction.
Yeah.
So it's not technically what you're seeing. It's what you're projecting out.
Right.
So and like that's a whole nother way of looking at these creatures. We could be willing these creatures into our community.
If you're looking
into our
for an
society.
elephant in the clouds, you're probably going to find one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the idea that something could exist by virtue of being believed in. That if you take the idea that like we are the ones creating our own reality. It's our minds that do that. Our entire perception of everything is generated in our heads. But like, so something being real, like how do you really know that you're holding that beer, or is that just some idea that your brain has?
It's kinetic energy, bro.
It's like, but we get what we're gonna talk about the cogito here, like I think therefore I am, like brain in a vat shit. No,
Well, I mean,
people could, in theory, be creating these things just by thinking about them, by believing in them.
And after a couple years of UFOs first getting into the collective consciousness, could maybe enough people willing these UFOs push something into our reality?
Right.
And like that, I think that's
All I'm saying is shit hasn't been the same since Harambe died.
Oh, Harambe.
That's all I'm saying. Shit has just gotten weird and shittier since Harambe.
I saw that meme about the like black sarcophagus being opened and then like.
We should
nothing
just start
bad. I
doing
want to know
curse
if that
stuff now, just
Actually, they really did find some black sarcophagus in Egypt and then fucking opened it. You know.
Yeah, at this point, I'm just saying open them all now because fuck it. Like what could be worse?
You know what? I agree with you. Let's get it all out.
Yeah,
let's flush all this shit out. We know it's already gonna come. We know people are gonna like this year's already shit. Let's
Everybody's
call it a
geared
shit
up
year.
for apocalypse. So.
Yeah, let's call it a shit year. Dive into it. Maybe like lean into it a little bit, and
Like,
then
Corona
2021 might be better.
But maybe just like a bunch of people, like we got the War of the Worlds in the 40s and all of that kind of stuff built into this UFO boom. Just like all of us projecting how much we want the apocalypse is willing this into exception.
I don't
too.
want the apocalypse.
There's a great science
I want
fiction
cryptids.
like set of books by this author Dan Simmons called Ilium and Olympus that takes on that very concept that like if we can imagine something because reality is just constantly like splitting and we're just on our timeline and every time there's a decision or something there's another timeline created, like the infinite timeline theory. So in some far-flung future where all these like crazy ass things do really exist and humanity is almost non-existent because of it.
I like that.
So it's you might want to
Wait,
check those
you
out.
guys. Maybe that's the world that we live in, where humanity is quote non-existent because on another world,
Well,
the cryptids haven't taken control.
The Matrix.
The cryptids are in
I'm
control
just
of the
saying, like,
Matrix.
if
Wait,
I
we've all
suddenly
taken
woke up and was
blue-
in a
what
fucking
pill
like
do- what
video
pill are we
game
supposed
on
to
like
take? I took a
another
Volt.
reality, and I wasn't a person,
feel
I
like
wasn't a
it'd be fine.
human, I don't think I'd be overly shocked. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be like, oh my fucking God. I'd be like,
Yeah, that makes sense.
that makes a lot more sense. You know?
That's what I'm saying. After this year, we're getting aliens, man. I don't know what exactly is going to happen, but I think we're getting.
Well, it's good that we're getting aliens because we also have a space
We gotta
force.
know-
Buddy, come on.
Fuck Elon, man.
No, dude, we got a space force, buddy. We got a space force.
Dude, I was really
bring on the aliens. Fuck them.
But Space Force
Marines.
is a military action out there in space.
That's what I'm saying. Bring it on, aliens.
We got
we'll
space
fuck you up.
MPs.
I want to take alien drugs.
You ever tried
is that-
nukes?
that's
I
gotta
want
be
to
a
take
thing,
alien
right?
drugs and get alien hugs.
But,
Clapping
you know,
their
they-
alien cheeks.
They boof all their drugs.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah,
Well,
that's all
it's
right.
because all aliens poop out their mouth, so it's like eating or boofing. It's the same deal.
I think
had
that's really
a-
racist of you to say, Sam. Not all aliens poop out of their mouth.
think-
I don't think it's racist, but it sure is xenophobic.
Oh, nailed it.
I just think we realized that all drugs are like they get into the system faster or whatever, however you say that and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
If you boof it.
I've taken a
And
weed
aliens took that
suppository
to a whole new
before,
level.
and it was
They were
one
like,
of,
"Oh, you guys kind of no, watch this drug boofed."
Yeah.
Boom.
You guys want
Alien
some weed
shit.
suppositories? I'll hook you up, man. They are fucking intense.
I
I didn't
Second
smoke for a
am
week.
good.
Just didn't even think about it.
Oh my god.
Alien shit.
That's
Joe's an alien.
Oh, we are recording. Okay.
yeah, Joe. Are you?
Oh, okay. So we're gonna keep going with the story because there's more.
Oh, really?
bunch more where that
came from. I couldn't tell.
Stay tuned.
All right. So like I did bring up before, a couple days before this whole incident happened, there was a very big UFO sighting above the Oak Ridge National Laboratory.
Right.
There was also 2 other very big UFO sightings at that time.
Were they also around nuclear?
Well, one was
Facilities?
the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio, and
So,
the
yes.
and the other
For
one
sure, 'cause
was
that's that-
over Washington D.C. and went straight down to Flatwoods from that area.
You said the Wright brothers?
Wright-Patterson Air Force
Oh,
Base.
The Wright brothers, yes.
So like those are like right around when that whole thing happened, and when the UFO went over the White House, the story was that as soon as it got over the White House, it went directly south and went to West Virginia, to Baxton County, where the Flatwood town is.
Oh,
It went over the Flatwood town and just hovered the trees very slowly, like it was looking for something, and then just disappeared into the woods.
shit.
So there are a couple other things that happened during the encounter that are kind of hard to piece together. They're like one-person stories. Like there was what looked to be 2 tracks going from where the craft supposedly landed to where the creature was spotted. This is also debated because there was a guy who lived like 2 farms over that would drive that road a lot. So it's kind of hard to tell if this had to do with him like investigating that, or if it was from the actual craft itself. But what they did find was a lot of a dark black substance that kind of looked like oil all over the facility. And as soon as that was brought up, the whole place was set under lockdown. For the next 3 days, no one was allowed in or out, like even the people that owned the facility. This also sounds like a lot of like UFO like kind of stuff, so like I take it with kind of a grain of salt.
Yeah.
But like the one story from all of this that I really I like was when these
Oh yeah.
these people decided to these people, or what a lot of other people consider the Men in Black of the community. This sighting has a Men in Black coming
vibe.
here. Like two guys that were in suits that were trying to ask a lot of information. No one knows exactly what they're after. They only talked to the mother. The mother said she brought them up to the area, and one of them left their side, went into the woods, came back just covered in that black oil. And they went back to her place, scraped her dress, and that was the last she's ever heard of him. So it was more of just
that's pretty cool. That's not Gestapo stuff at all. That's
That's
fun.
the Men in Black, man. They're always there. What do you got?
In January 1949, Strategic Air Command, which is who was responsible for all our nukes, right, conducted simulated raids on Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio. They later built a fucking nuclear reactor there. So we got like some strong evidence of that, like, you know, these things seem to correlate around nuclear power stuff.
That's been a thing for a while, especially with UFOs, that it's like there's been a theory out there for a bit. I thought of this earlier when you mentioned the nuclear plant and stuff. I was like, this kind of adds up, because a lot of UFO or extraterrestrial things that I've heard of seem to be related around nuclear centers.
Big energy.
And
They
there's
built
a
the
theory
atom
that
bomb
it's-
at Area 51.
Yeah, so
that's where it's from.
There's theory that like extraterrestrial life is worried about our development at the time. This is where it was a big thing. Our development of the atom bomb or the hydrogen bomb or whatever and stuff.
You're like,
That's what-
They were like,
a
oh,
very
shit.
we're not
big
we're not gonna
theory
do
those
that.
that's
guys are
also
into
a-
nuclear shit.
Yeah,
like,
a big theory that's also a big theme in the comic book The Invisibles, which is a fucking amazing comic book, is in New Mexico when they were testing atom bombs, they ripped a hole in the space-time continuum, and that's why things were able
Los
to come
Alamos.
in.
It was Los Alamos.
Los Alamos?
Yeah, not Roswell.
Well, what is it? Oppenheimer was he would go like Area 51 was his place. You could still go there for all the nuclear testing, and like you can go to the towns that they would set up to see how it would react to certain distances away. Like they loved
A lot of that
whole
also
area.
happened at Los Alamos. Was like the nuclear testing range for
So I was gonna say,
the military.
I was pretty aware too of being from Washington. I live real close to, or not that far away from, Hanford nuclear facility, and that was one of the two places in the U.S. that they made parts for the bombs. And then I think they completely assembled them in a third location, if you will.
Right.
And
Makes sense.
Yeah, that's been a very big
Way far the fuck away from them.
Yeah.
And underground, probably.
That's been a big theory with a lot of UFOs for a long time. But let's get down to the theories of what the Flatwood monsters could be.
Ooh.
So the overall theory, like you brought up, is it's an owl on a perch with an asteroid that hit the ground not too far away from it, and mountain farts that made people kind of feel bad.
How big was
That makes
this?
sense.
They saw the thing that hit the ground.
But
How big did they say it was?
Well, they said it was the size of a 2-car garage when they saw it going through the sky. But they also say
let's be
like
real,
a
if-
softball asteroid hitting the ground will have a crater mark that you could pronounce anywhere. So like
Something
it's
the size
huge.
of
It
a
will
2-car
always be,
garage.
yeah.
So
slamming
yeah,
into
regardless
the
of how
ground.
big it was, they've never been able to find, I believe you said earlier,
Yeah.
a crater mark from something the size of, like, say, this building right here. It hits the ground.
Right, when the
you're
funny
gonna know.
dudes in the suits went up there, they had some bulldozer flashlights.
Grab
and they
your
just-
shovels, boys. We
Yeah,
gotta cover
no,
this
no.
up.
They had 2 full days to do it too, so that
Right.
totally
I mean,
could happen.
right.
But why? But that would be a great excuse.
Because an asteroid the size of a 2-car garage hitting the fucking ground at asteroid speed would have left a crater as big as your fucking property or bigger.
Yeah, that's
that'd be
all.
like that shit that hit out in
You'd have like
in Arizona, you can.
With
You'd
the
have
big
like a-
spaceman on the bottom of it.
yeah,
where you
you'd
don't
have like
see
a
it.
1 acre crater.
Yeah, you
sitting
can
on the
only
ground.
like somebody owns it. Like some people privately own this fucking crater from an asteroid impact.
I had a real
Yeah.
bad
Charge.
time there because they wouldn't let me walk my dog up into that property, so I
Oh,
drove
no, I
all the
was
way
like,
to it, and they told me to
how-
leave, and I was
how-
like, oh, fuck.
I was like, how much do you want for me to go walk on this gantry over here? And they're like, I thought it was expensive. I was
Yeah,
like,
it
are
was.
you fucking $50? I was like, I mean, I just want to like poke my head out and look.
Yeah, I just want to see it.
And then there were signs the whole way, like you cannot, like no trespassing, no collecting stones, blah 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 blah
Just
blah.
owning a crater.
On the way back, we totally stopped and collected stones, flipped them off and shit.
Fucking right.
I was thinking just
So yeah, like that's the kind of impact crater that a fucking 2-car garage size rock makes when it falls from space
just-
at like
I just picture a crater
1,000
lake.
miles an hour.
Yeah, Crater
Yeah.
Lake.
Right.
But that was made by a volcano.
No, I know, but I'm just like
Still gigantic.
it's kind of like appropriately named.
The fucking
Yeah.
that crater in New Mexico or Arizona or whatever is pretty goddamn big. Like it's, if it was
Oh, yeah.
full of water, it'd be a big fucking chunk of water.
Well, it could also be an alien in a mechanical suit. That's that's the one I want to be true.
I definitely
do-
want that to be true
yeah.
as well.
I did kind of
That's what
see
I'm
that
rooting for.
after you. I didn't see it at first, but the picture we looked at
Yeah.
from history.com, you said like robot thing, and I was like, fucking robot, really? Like I don't see a robot in this. But then when I look back at it again, I was like, oh, it's totally like Iron Man steel plate with the
You got
arms.
the you got the
And
you got the
then-
helmet that's your respirator.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then the head kind of fits in there. But if you look at it with the perspective of the spade over it, it makes the head not look so robotic. But when you took that spade out, as far as it maybe being an aura or something, it was like, oh, this is just
It's not
like
a long ass snaky neck and a lizard head.
It was like
I'd
a-
want like a thing.
The-
I
the
imagine
picture
the
is
inside of
definitely
this
like a-
helmet is like the entire command structure for this spacesuit.
that's on
You
like
know?
that initial
So,
drawn
like-
picture is definitely like a robot with a pleated skirt on.
Yeah, yeah.
And as scientist or businessman, I'll say businessman, look more like that, just staring oddly
Should've
at it.
drawn a glass of scotch into
Just
that
like,
dude's hand.
wow, how drunk did I get tonight? You want to go home?
That's
It's like,
like when like
alright.
George Jetson fucks Rosie and like the like for the first time, and he like wakes up and sees Rosie laying next to him. He's like, "What did I do?"
What? What?
What?
I think he's making a hypothetical scenario.
Oh.
up.
Wait, you guys don't write like Jetson fan fiction?
You know what? I'm actually about to go
Why is
and
fan
check
fiction
out
always fucking porn?
this fan
no,
fiction.
mine just always
Okay.
is. Yeah.
Well, stay tuned.
Yeah, I think we've
well,
reached
I
the-
have one last little thing to say.
before the
Ooh.
commercial.
There's one
Before our
last theory
breaks.
that I really, really like that I
Commercial.
think might be true. And this is from a 1950 article that the British sent to the Air Force. And the report was called "The Exploitation of Purposeful of Psychological War," or the exploitation of psychological war. Let's just go with that. So what the British
You
did,
can't read your own handwriting.
and that's why he's a doctor.
yeah, I am, but I won't give you pills. So this is the quote from this article. Our men were able to use illusions of amusing nature when in small groups. Basically, they had a 12-foot scarecrow that could move on its own power, sending flashes of bangs with every step. The peasants, in its way, fled to the next village, claiming the devil is marching with the British. And this is a quote straight from that article in the 1950s that they were using against like people, like let's say
Serbians.
that didn't know exactly what kind of like military that they were going up against. And I think that
Jesus
they
Christ.
might have just kind of used that kind of
It's just
information.
military propaganda.
Yeah, they just wanted to see what they can kind of get away with.
Jesus.
They might as well play with everybody. You could use a
So-
little bit of gas.
Right.
You can
Right.
mess everyone up a little bit.
Right.
It's like Scarecrow.
Acid gas.
Yeah.
Hit him with the acid gas. See what happens.
Well, thank you very much for all of this tonight, guys. I've been 3 weeks now going on this like
Rabbit hole.
yeah, and honestly, I have 2 other monsters that I wanted to talk about, but I just kept finding more and more weird little shit about this guy that I knew it just had to be one full episode. So, thank you very much. You guys have any other questions?
What other 2 monsters were you thinking about
Yeah.
talking
Yeah.
about? You got me
There's
curious
one
now.
Are you
very
gonna do a
similar
third
to
segment?
this that is called the Kentucky Goblins.
Ooh.
That
It sounds
could
like a
possibly
softball
be this monster leaving this area and going to the like another area. And the story's great because it's like 4 goblins that like come across this house of carnies, and the carnies just don't give a fuck and just start firing shotgun shells at them all.
Jesus Christ.
And like that's about the story, but it's a lot of fun.
Oh my God.
And the other one's about Skujili Man, but I'm not allowed to talk about him.
What about the squanch? Or the squonk? The squonk.
What the fuck are you
Is that the
talking
sad
about?
guy?
The really sad, ugly
Yeah,
pig
that's the
thing.
Pennsylvania crying guy that you got to
Yeah.
follow the tears to find him.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, he's
man.
my favorite.
That sounds like this. That just all of it. I'm
I
just
love
like, hey,
it.
let's
The
find a
ugliest
monster.
pug
Oh.
I feel like he gets like if he gets happy, he just like falls into himself and pops out the other side and then is sad again and just starts walking the other direction crying. So
Oh,
he's
maybe.
not allowed to be happy. Well,
I can see that.
yeah.
So it's just a wandering sad.
Yeah.
It's like a
he's so
humanoid?
cute. No,
Like, I
he's
don't
like a
know how
little
to-
sausage with legs, but he
Okay.
kind of
The
looks like a
ugliest pug
dick
pig.
with foreskin that just pops out of both sides.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was worried you were talking about.
Yeah.
Oh,
That'd
No,
be
what-
the oddest conversation to have with your friends. You're like, dude, you'll never guess what I saw today. And they're like, what? Like a mountain lion? And you're like, no, dude, crazy shit. I mean, like,
It was like a dick.
It was like
popping
a
out of
dick.
2 sides of a foreskin.
but it was really sad.
you have to
the saddest-
find him by following his tears.
It was like, yeah, I started on this tear path. You mean like a dick was coming down the street? No. It was like
Check it out. It's like
it was like this dick-shaped thing that was
I was in
a
crying.
the-
long dog.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a branch.
Oh, there's a long dog.
Imagine a long dog with legs, but it cries a lot.
do that for you.
And so if you follow his tears, what does he do? Give you money?
No, he doesn't do anything. He just cries and goes the other direction. It's a very sad story. It doesn't do anything
that
good.
is sad.
It's like if the ghost in Super Mario Brothers actually ran away from you every time you turned your back on it.
Yeah, it's like, sorry.
It's like, oh no, but if you faced it, it was like, and you're like, oh no, I'm gonna go the other way because you're weird. You look like a dick, and then you turn around, and it was like, oh.
Well, I have one more question about this monster.
Oh, it's about like 8.5 inches long.
No, the creature,
Oh.
cryptid we were talking about.
Oh, okay. all right.
Yeah, sorry. Did it ever kill anyone?
No.
Just scared
Nope.
the shit out of
Well,
people.
it killed the dog. But it was
Okay.
the smoke from the
It
mist that
was-
killed the dog. But there's only been 3 to 4 sightings of the Flatwood monster. Now, no one knows if it left its spacecraft and had legs that could walk and end up being a goblin or a Mothman. It was around that time where it could grow into a, like, maybe it was stuck on Earth.
Oh shit!
and,
They
like-
shot their larva down here to Earth, and
Yeah.
then the thing came here and it was like,
It turned into- it-
and then fucking hatched.
It turned into
That gets-
Mothman.
yeah.
It was essentially a caterpillar at first.
Yep,
That turned into a butterfly,
yep.
and then developed into, because it likes the woods or is stuck in it, Bigfoot.
Right.
Which is
See,
why you
I
can't
Or
ever
it's the
think
find.
we really pinned this
phenomenon,
down.
and it depends on the way you're thinking, the way your mindset
head's at.
is when
Yeah.
you come across it.
Ooh, kind of like it.
Yeah. Ooh. That was a lot of fun, guys.
Thank you very much, Mr. Joe, for the cryptid night. It's been very cool and also a little spooky. Like I didn't really like the intro. It was way too tense. There was a lot of
Did we talk about Oak Ridge?
Just about as a nuclear power facility.
yeah.
But there's a lot of crazy shit going on
Oak
there.
Ridge was the main headquarters for the Manhattan Project.
I guess that'll be a topic for another episode. So
Sending people to West Virginia, too.
thank you, Joe, for your co-host takeover night.
It was great.
Yeah, it was fun and splendid. Mr. Sam,
Hey,
thank you for being here and
that's me.
commentating, as it
You're
were.
Welcome.
And next week we are talking with Mr. Sean. He's the
Oh,
co-host
yeah.
About-
taking over as the
What's your topic?
host.
I am doing the history of pornography.
Oh,
Oh yeah, we're gonna get a little raw and dirty with it
all right.
Right.
and see where it
Nice.
see
Or
where.
would you say Ron and Jeremy with it?
Oh, I probably should have.
Yeah, that was a good pun.
I'll start sharing some clips with everybody.
I'm
No,
gonna have my-
no.
I'm gonna have my that sound like. So do your research.
Yeah.
I don't.
I'll bring
And
the
do not
video
tell me about how you do
camera.
it.
I don't
Yeah.
appreciate getting pornographic images in the.
And feel free to email
My
Lauren
text.
O'Brien at Black Sheep and Bad Apples about any history of porn related topics.
That's not the email, but it probably should be the email that I have for the website.
So yeah, get ready for your wah pedals.
Yeah, it
Wow.
what, you know what? Never mind. We'll get to that later. It's been really fun. I'm excited for the next couple of episodes. Sean is going to be next week. I'm going to be the week after. And then we are going on a short little, not hiatus, but call it a season break.
Season
We're going
break.
to take a couple weeks and build some ideas and come back refreshed and renewed.
Yeah, we might throw some crazy bullshit at everybody.
No, we're definitely throwing crazy bullshit at everybody. I've got some
I got a serial
history
killer
planned.
and a cult that I really want to talk about. So
Where?
yeah.
Where was that place in Washington that
Yeah.
you were talking about?
So we'll go ahead and catch up with you guys next
Hanford?
week.
Like Hanford.
And I hope that,
That
you
was
all
also on the Manhattan
listening
Project list.
have enjoyed what's been going on. Because it's definitely been a fun and interesting ride for all of us. And that's it. That's what we're doing.
We're more
I'm Lauren
energized
O'Brien.
now than when we started.
I'm Lauren O'Brien. This is Black Sheep and Bad Apples. And that's it.
Yeah, well, okay.
Oh, fuck Hobo Johnson.
Fuck Hobo Johnson.
Oh, I didn't put that once, and the guy, Flatwood Monster killed him 3 times. Yeah, I didn't
Hobo
even bring that
Johnson
up.
was officially killed by the Flatwood Monster.
Yep. It's true
Which is
story.
why
You can
he-
Google it.
Fuck Hobo Johnson.
Fuck
yeah.
Hobo.
Even the Flatwood Monster says that. Fuck Hobo Johnson and people who wear sandals and socks.